Hey there, Aries. So this is a forecast taking you on a 2-week journey from the new moon to the full moon. I'm literally going to take you from the new moon in Pisces right the way through to the total lunar eclipse that's happening on the 14th of March. It's also the full moon in Virgo. So there's a lot of things going on during that time. So what I want to do is bring it up right now, because one of the big themes for you I see really going forward is, I think right now you're needing to reclaim your divine blueprint. You know, from my perspective, as I'm looking at this, you're in a very, very sort of delicate place of renewal, really delicate place of renewal. And so what I'm going to do is take you from new moon to full moon and explain how I see that unfolding for you. So just before we go forwards, I just want to, sort of talk a little bit about the energies from the new to the full. Obviously, at the time of the new moon, there's not much light, there's not much illumination. Everything has to come from within. It's a time when we tune in to ourselves, and we really sense the energies around us. We really get a strong feel for what our calling is. It's a time when we can imagine what we'd like to create in our life and start to tune into how you might need to feel to bring that into your actual manifest reality. So this is literally today, the 27th, 28th of February. And this, as we come to the other end, we are at a really full and fully illuminated space. Now, during these full moons, and in particular, the total lunar eclipse is the next one to come up, there's a lot of energy, a lot of consciousness, a lot of noise. There's a lot of stuff going on, and it can get quite fast. So we're going from slow to fast, and from nothing to everything. We're growing your potential. And this point in the middle, at the time of the first quarter, which happens on the 7th of March, it's midway. There's some darkness, there's some light, there's some illumination. And to me, that represents a choice point. So what we're going to do is pace through this together and get a sense for how it might work for you. Just in case you're a bit of a rational person and see things in a diary format, this is how it might look on a diary. The new moon, the change point, the total lunar eclipse at the end of this forecast period. And there's a few things that I've noted along route that might be able to help you. For instance, Venus going retrograde on the 2nd of March. Mercury going into Aries. But of course, as an Aries person, I think the sun in a trine to Mars is really important, Mars being your ruling planet. So I will be touching on all of these as we go through this. So this is your chart for the new moon. So I'm taking you on this journey. It's from an Aries perspective. This is a whole sign model that I've put in here, just to give you an idea. So Aries is either your ruling planet, like your rising, Aries is either your ascendant or rising sign or your sun sign. If you're a really strong Aries, if you've got this really strong Aries mentality, if you identify with that sign in particular, then this is the perspective I'm working with this from. So this is where the new moon is in your chart. It is in the 12th house. It's a place of mystery and magic. It's a place of dreaming. It's a place where we drift in and out of consciousness. And, when we're sort of in our own minds, often little hooks come in, little ideas come in, we get a little sense of something. And as we come back into full waking consciousness, we're bringing it with us. This new moon in Pisces is particularly magical, really is unlike your usual waking conscious energy. It's really a sort of gentle, delicate, kind of, it's giving you the feels. Okay. What I like about this in particular is that it's in this lovely trine to Mars, your ruling planet. And this is a great thing for you, Aries. Probably you felt quite held back because Mars went retrograde in December the 6th. He went retrograde about here. He's moved all the way back into Cancer, into this very private part of your chart in the 4th house. Literally a few days ago on the 24th of February, Mars started to move forwards again. It's come into this lovely trine. Everything is just aligning into this beautiful trine. And throughout this whole 2-week period, the sun is working this trine all the way through. So you've got this feeling of progression, this feeling of movement. So if I put those ideas together, here's what's coming up. From your imagination, from your sensitivity, your intuition, your psyche, from your dream state, from your daydreams, from any kind of internal creative process right now, is coming strength. This idea of what you might need to be able to move on and to move forwards. And to me, I think what you're actually doing is you're going deep inside to reclaim your cosmic blueprint. You know, it's helping you tune into who you are, why you're here, what you're meant to be doing right now. And so it's time to really listen in. Now, if I was in your shoes around the time of tonight's energy, the time of the new moon in Pisces, I think I would spend a bit of time either and you know, use the senses that you align to most. You know, where's your preference in terms of your senses? You know, is it talking things out, you know, like using sound, listening to things and talking things through? If you're very auditory, start planning your ideas, talk out loud about what works for you, what doesn't, how things make you feel, etc. If you're very much a writer and you like to see things like words on a paper, or if you like to draw, then kind of draw it out, paint it out. Maybe you want to dance it out if you're very physical and you're in the feels. You know, do whatever you need to do to get that sense of inspiration so that you can start to piece together the different fragments of your life and start to form it together. The real key here is it's out of the mystery. It's out of the mystery. I mean, I believe we come from like a portal. It sounds nuts. I mean, I think the womb space is like a portal. You know, we are grown in this womb, and then we kind of come forwards. We kind of shoot out into the world. I think we come from the mystery. We come from the unknown. And there is some of your programming. So there's a lot of mysteriousness, mysterious magic. It's kind of shamanic, really deep process. Now, during this time, the sun is also going to be approaching to Saturn. You know, it's coming into a very, very practical energy. And so I think towards the end, just before the moon, I mean, the moon's walking around or kind of moving around this chart all the way through the 2 weeks until it gets to here. But, you know, the sun is also moving. Saturn's moving quite noticeably. But the sun is advancing onto Saturn. And during that particular creeping forwards in connection with Saturn, there's this real feel that whatever you're creating at the time of the new moon in terms of where you want to be in the world, how you're grasping at life right now, it's starting to solidify. Saturn adds weight, shape and form, you know, and a sense of longevity, a sense of time, you know. So it's not just something in your imagination, it's something that's timed. It has a birth and a death. Like your ideas can start at the time of the new moon and they can go on as long as you want them to go on before you end them and change them and amend them. So there is this sense that you are growing something, you know, this isn't in your imagination. So I really, really particularly like that. Now, Mercury and Saturn are also together. So for people who are, if you're a channel, if you have that sense of divine communication, that's just going to be really strong in this month ahead, especially in these 2 weeks ahead, because also Saturn and Mercury are also in alignment with the North Node and Neptune, and they really are in this hidden part of your chart, in your blind spot. So there is this deep spark of reverence, this deep spark of faith, this deep spark of knowing that you're not necessarily always able to tap into. But right now, it's like there is something unimaginably strong and big and kind of life-changing and powerful that's just kind of in the recesses of your unconscious mind. So, you know, if you've been feeling a bit irritated, jittery, whatever has been going on in your physical body, suffice to say, it's not in your mind. You know, there are really big energies around, and this is to help you rebirth. This is really to help you move forwards. In this year ahead, it's going to be huge. I'm going to be doing a year ahead forecast from March the 20th when we go into the equinox, which is when the sun comes into the sign of Aries. It's the first sign of the zodiac. It's the start of the new story. And that indeed is what's going on for you, is this next 2 weeks is really a start of a new story, really, truly. And this is where you're birthing it. This is like you're birthing the kind of end of your old life and the beginning of your new. So take heart in that. So it's not necessarily a week of taking action. It's a time of relaxing, actually, languishing in your own space. That might sound heretical to an Aries that likes to be quite active. And yet it's really necessary to kind of languish, enjoy, experience being you in your body. I mean, Aries is really the sign of the body, with ruled by Mars in the first house. It's all about the body. Now, some other things I want to talk about. Venus is going retrograde on the 2nd, and she's going to go retrograde from your first house. So I get the feeling that this is feeling a bit like a false start, that earlier, maybe 3 weeks ago or so, you were starting to feel like you were moving forwards and you had a much clearer idea. And Venus, especially being here at this current moment in time, Venus is kind of saying, yeah, I'm here and I'm actually feeling quite comfortable. I've got a sense of value in myself. I've got a sense of comfort in my body. And yet she's going to go retrograde. And, don't feel like a failure because all of a sudden this feeling of well-being seems to change. What's really going on is Venus is tipping back in. She's tiptoeing back into your unconscious mind. She's going to hook up with the North Node and Neptune. It's like she is linking your physical body with your mind. It's linking the communication between the two, really helping you to get your body and your higher self or your mind talking. It'd be really good. I mean, a lot of the time, the ego is the thing that's driving your whole existence. Like you say, I want to go here, I want to go there, I'm going to do this, rush, fall asleep, and then I have to get up again because my alarm goes off. But there's no sense of asking your body, what do you need right now? Fantastic body, you got me through life so far. What do you need right now? And so I do also think that during this 2 weeks, if you could pay more attention to your body, especially as Venus is going retrograde back into this mysterious place of your unconscious mind, you're going to hear some interesting stuff. Like your body might not want to be in the rush of it all. There might be places that you take your body to that your body doesn't want to go to. So whatever is going on, as weird as it might sound and seem, this is all part of the process of you reclaiming who you're meant to be, your divine blueprint. That sort of knowing of, okay, now is the time. And like I say, this next year is going to be absolutely turbocharging you for a very different kind of identity, one that maybe you've longed for, maybe one you're not quite ready to step into. Neptune and Saturn are coming in and then they're going to move out, but it's definitely giving you a sense of something new. A new sort of evolution of where you're going. Now, if we look into the week 2 from the 7th, you'll see it's even more tightly aligned. Yeah, the moon is now over here. It's going through your 3rd house, connecting to Jupiter. And that's quite a nice point in time, actually, when the moon, so in between the 5th and the 7th, I'm saying on the 6th, when the moon and Jupiter connect, there is also this lovely connection, the moon and Venus. Even though Venus is retrograde, there's this lovely feeling of well-being and a sense of being held in your community. So you don't have to stay hidden all the time, but it does feel like you're coming out a little bit and you're getting a sense of where you're going in life and maybe what's happening over the next 2 weeks. But yeah, talking about Venus retrograde, she's tiptoeing back and she's re-evaluating. She's re-evaluating your attitudes to love, to flow, to money, to all the good things that come into your life, all the things that light you up. And it's not because there's anything wrong with them per se, but it's like, how can I enjoy this more? How can I enjoy this in a way that really is what I'm about here on earth? How can I like the things that really are good for me? So you're going through a definite re-evaluation of the person you are meant to be right now. Now, Mercury isn't retrograde just yet. He's going retrograde from the 15th, so just after this forecast period. But interestingly, Mercury is going to go retrograde over the same point, right the way through the 1st house, about your identity, back into this place of the imagination. And so what I think is important to bear in mind, and I would advise you not rush on anything too intractable. Don't be in a rush to get things signed, sealed and delivered and like, this is who I am, and put yourself in a huge box, because Venus is going retrograde from the 2nd of March until the 13th of April. Mercury's retrograde period fits in between those brackets, like from start to finish. So it's worth waiting until after the 13th to see how you feel then. I'm sure you're going to go through some switches, some feels, some real sort of like different sense of who you are from this, because you've got these two very strong personal retrogrades going on through your first house, taking you back to your unconscious mind. So as you're nearing the actual total lunar eclipse in 2 weeks' time, the moon's going to be coming around here, and it's going to be in this very manifest, real place, the sixth house, where, you know, this is where you get your business done. This is where you live your life. This is how you organize yourself, get fit, get healthy, you know, where everything is kind of routined and works out really nicely. With Virgo here, you're probably quite fastidious about, you know, the kind of things you want in your life and things you don't like. And that's great. But the enormity of this full moon is that it's going to shake up anywhere in your life that isn't really suitable for the caliber person that you are. It's going to get shaken off like a dog will shake the fleas off. It's like, you know, you really do need to be the energy that you're meant to be, and anything that doesn't fit that is going to fall by the wayside. So yeah, I can't stress this: relax into yourself period enough. You are re-emerging out of like a cosmic chrysalis. So Aries, even if that feels a bit uncomfortable and a little bit surprising for you, I wonder what would happen if you just went with it, to see what happens in this game of life. Now, if you would like to know a little bit more, I've created an Aries love forecast for this period, and also an Aries career and ambition forecast, which really drills down to those two subjects. So it's not such an overview, but it's really tightly based on what you might need right now. So I hope you found that helpful. Have a fantastic 2 weeks ahead, and hopefully catch you real soon in another forecast. Lots of love. Bye for now.